Hello everyone, this is Beware the Q, or his hands anyway. In this video we're going to be taking a look inside of my copy of Man After Man. Now, the reason I'm making this video is because basically Man After Man is a very expensive and quite rare book, and a lot of people sadly aren't going to get the chance to own this book or see one in person because they're so hard to come by. So I thought it would be nice to do a video where we can have a look inside it, flip through the pages. I'll do a running commentary on what's in there, just so that you can sort of see one in person, because it may be that you don't get to, as much as you'd like to. Usually this is very expensive. It's goes for around £400 on eBay. I managed to get mine for about 70, which even, in my view, for a book, that's still very expensive. There's no way I'd ever pay 400. When this one came up for about 70, I was still kind of umming and ahhing about whether to get it. Eventually I did just take the plunge. I got it. I'm very pleased that I did. So yeah, we'll just, I've got it here. I'll take you through the pages. We'll have a quick flip through. I've got this, my phone here on a tripod that I'm actually borrowing, and it's a bit wobbly. I'm a bit nervous about it, to be honest. I don't actually own a tripod. I'm borrowing this one because I don't usually make this kind of video, so hopefully it doesn't fall over, it doesn't fall backwards, and yeah, hopefully not. I'll have to be as gentle as I possibly can, make sure I don't rock the desk. Yeah, let's open it up and have a look inside. So here we've got obviously the sort of title page. There's probably a technical term for that. I don't know what it is, but yeah, we've got it again here. We've got Primitive Man over on this page, and we've got the final human visitors who, the Jemez Smoot's descendants, I think they're called. They're the ones that are descended from the original humans who left Earth, colonized the star system, and then they came back 5 million years later and ravaged the planet Earth. That's them. So yeah, we're going to go through, and we've got the table of contents here. If you've watched my audiobook video, you'll be familiar with the format of the book. Basically, it starts 200 years hence, 300, all the way up to 5 million years hence, and it tells you here, which events take place during this time frame. We've got the foreword here by Brian Aldiss, and then we've got the introduction, and this is kind of a point of contention between a lot of people who have read this book and listened to it, because of how it describes the way DNA works. Apparently it's, this came out in 1990, so it's going to be dated anyway. The understanding of things like this is changing all the time. Somebody actually wrote a comment on the Man After Man audiobook video. I've got it here on my laptop, and it basically says, the misunderstanding of DNA replication was kind of cringe, but I guess they didn't know DNA amylase existed back when this was written. DNA amylase, I actually don't know what that is. Like I've said before, I'm not a scientist, I'm not scientifically trained, I'm not a biologist or anything like that. My understanding of how DNA works is very rudimentary. So I don't know what DNA amylase actually is. I'm going to have to research that. But yeah, that seems to be people's biggest problem with this book, is this introduction and the way it describes how DNA works. But I'm a layman, so I don't know one way or the other, to be honest. But so okay, so we've got some diagrams here of descriptions of DNA and how it works, things like that. And then we come to part one. This is the beginning. 8 million years ago. Talks about the human development over that time. We've got pictures up here of the gradual changes that we went through. And then we've got a table here with the evolutionary time scale in the millions of years to provide a visual aid. And then we get to the interesting bit now. Not that the stuff before isn't interesting, but the future humans, that's what we're all here for, really. If we wanted a proper description of how DNA works and everything, we probably wouldn't read Man After Man. We'd just go for a textbook on, you know, how that on that stuff. But you know, yeah, we come to the fun bit. I guess we should say. So we've got the Aquamorph here. Like I've said in the videos before, a lot of these give me that uncanny valley feeling. These start beginning ones aren't too bad, to be honest, because this thing, I mean, the Aquamorph, it barely looks human at all. You know, the arms are probably the most human part of it. You know, the arms and the hands with the digits. Everything else, it looks very, you know, very sci-fi, you know, something that you would probably see in some science fiction film or TV show or whatever, so it doesn't bother me that much. Same again with the Vacuumorph. It's completely non-human, so it doesn't really, you know, it doesn't really cause much upset to my delicate constitution, I suppose you should say. Got Jameez Smoot here, who is, you know, he's there to represent humanity leaving Earth to colonize the stars. This is in 200 years hence, so in about the 2200s or so, apparently, when we'll be leaving Earth and colonizing. I don't think, you know, just as a little aside, I don't think we're going to be leaving Earth that soon. I think all this stuff, you know, Elon Musk and his SpaceX and then the Virgin Galactic, all that sort of thing. My personal view is that all of that is simply marketing for their other areas of their businesses. You know, it's like, oh yeah, I'm going to go and buy a Tesla car because, you know, Elon Musk's company is going to be going to space. They're trying to go to space. Their whole going to space thing, it's just marketing. You know, it's just like, we'll make lots and lots of products, and just as an advertising thing, every so often we'll launch a rocket to just go up there and barely graze the clouds and then come down again. Everyone will go crazy for it and they'll buy our products. That's basically what it is. I don't think it's a genuine attempt to actually go to space, sadly. That's just my view. I could be wrong. We'll see. We'll see in the coming decades what comes of it. But anyway, back onto the topic at hand. So yeah, you know, Kyushu Kristan and the Squatty, you get all the... that's a good point about Man After Man that I forgot to mention in my review that I did a few weeks ago, is that it has individual stories of individuals from every species, which is very cool. You know, that is a good point that I completely forgot to mention. I don't know how I mentioned it, to be honest, because I was racking my brains at the end trying to come up with things that I did like about the book, but somehow this one just escaped me. But yeah, you know, you get the story of Kyushu Kristan and how him and his wife have to fight for food and fend off other scavenging humans in this sort of post-apocalyptic looking wasteland that they now inhabit in 200 years' time. In 300 years, we get the high techs. These are sort of these do bring up some sort of negative emotions in me, simply because of their snobbish attitude towards, you know, true human beings like Kyushu Kristan, who, you know, traditional humans, modern humans like us, basically, we are essentially just worker drones, and these guys sort of, they're you know, they have the nerve to be disgusted at our appearance, which is quite funny, looking at this monstrosity, stupid little face poking out. Yeah. I shouldn't get so emotional about it. I suppose it is just a book after all. But yeah, you know, you get the Grirath Hulm, Hui Chum, and sort of the names that they've got. Very futuristic sounding names, I guess. And then you come to 500 years, you start getting towards the creations of the high-techs. So, and this is the first one that really gives me the ooh kind of, you know, that feeling of sickness, I guess, because it looks very human in the face, but it's more like a sort of, I don't know, like some sort of goblin or something, I guess. You know, it's got the pointed ears and yeah, you know, I wouldn't want to meet something like that in person. Again, another one here, it's essentially just a monkey ape type creature with a very human looking face. ooh, that's just quite unpleasant. A lot of people have pointed to this one specifically when they're talking about their feelings of, uncanny valley and everything. We got humans here, it's a very 80s looking illustration. I'm sure it's a painting, the way it's done. It looks to me like it looks like acrylic to me, but I could be wrong. I'm not 100% sure. Temperate woodland dweller. It's just a monkey, so that one doesn't bother me too much because it does look very much like just a nice, cute little monkey. Oh god, these things, the ticks. Right, these things are just. When I first saw them, I felt genuinely sick. It's just such a. You got the human face poking out, and then all this flabby kind of fatty looking tissue all over it, blubbery looking thing. Oh, I mean, it's just, yeah. A lot of people have said that, obviously, this is a point, again, that I forgot to make in the previous video, which was that, I do know that probably all this this disgust reaction that a lot of people get is probably on purpose by the artist. I'm well aware of that probably was the aim to make this look as gross as possible. Everybody points it out. That is just the point that I genuinely forgot to make. But that I'm aware of that. This I've always found to be quite a cool illustration. It shows the aquatics, who I think we'll come to in a minute. They're milling around in this sort of old abandoned gigantic sort of machinery that's underwater, used in the construction of the ships that took Jemez Smoot, the human, and others like him into space. Parts of it were being built underwater. The aquatics were designed genetically to, I think they were designed, unless I'm wrong, no, that was the aquamorphs actually. The aquatics, I think they come later on, but yeah, I've always found this sort of thing, like abandoned machinery, abandoned industrial settings and things like that, to be really cool. Kind of like, to go back to everyone's favourite All Tomorrows, kind of like the ruin haunters. They're wandering around in the shell of their ancient cities. I've always found that to be a cool, powerful image, one that may be upon us not too far in the future. But not to get all doom and gloom and post-apocalyptic on you, we'll move on. Seasons Greasons, that old meme. I still don't get that meme, to be honest. I guess it's just because this looks sort of Christmassy. You've got the Christmas trees there, and this thing is being attacked by this thing, the Tundra Dweller. Memes are silly. Aquatics. Now the aquatics are, so developed in the earliest centuries of genetic engineering as a refinement to the aquamorphs, The aquatics were the first group to carry hereditary genetic changes. Clumsy and vulnerable on land, the sea is now their instinctive habitat. So I guess they're just, oh, that's right, they were made by the high-techs to populate the oceans, because I think they designed 5 different post-human species to populate all the different niches of nature. And so you've got these guys who live in the water, and then you got that's right, it's all coming back to me now. My memory is atrocious, I have to say. It's just so hard for me to remember all this stuff. You got this one here, it's grabbing the duck, and this guy just here watching. Tundra Dweller watching some hunting going on, maybe giving him some ideas. But this is when he figures out how to, this is where their species kind of takes a new turn in their hunting methods, I guess. I can't, what's that one called? Is that a, I think that might be one of these, the, my memory, what is, sorry, this one, okay, the temperate woodland dweller. So look, I think that might be that. I'm not 100% sure though, that could be wrong. You got the memory people, which, there can be no further artificial changes. The memory people. I think they might be the ones that sort of remember the past or something sort of silly like that. I'm not 100%. 10,000 years hence, you got the symbionts. Yeah, these I believe these are descended from the tundra dwellers, but they've kind of got this symbiotic relationship with these smaller post-humans there. Yes, symbiont carrier in 10,000 years. That seems a bit of a short time span to me for something this drastic to happen, but I don't know. I'm no evolutionary biologist. I don't know. But yeah, you got yeah, that one there. Ugly little guy. Some others there, and then okay, yeah. So here's the aquatics. These guys live in the oceans, and I think at the end of the story they end up being the sole survivors, basically, because Jemez Smoot's descendants, they come back, and then they ravage the earth, but barely touch the oceans for some reason. And these guys all survive, but I mean that could be wrong. Maybe I'm oversimplifying it. I'm not sure. Yeah, these socials. Yeah, these are the socials. These are called. And again, very human faces on very non-human looking bodies. Again, it's got a mustache. They have mustaches. These ones. It's strange. Boat builders, boat people. They're essentially, yeah, this one's a bit crazy to me, because they are essentially very, very simian, and yet they look at this thing that they've built, this boat. It seems way too advanced for something like this. But then again, I don't know what their intelligence level is. It seems a bit silly to me, but you know. And they're here, they're attacking a aquatic who, by this point, they've developed this sort of gelatinal blob that they can encase themselves in, so they can venture onto land and hunt other, hunt these guys. I think that's what happens at this point, is one of them goes up to it and it basically grabs hold of it, pulls him in and rolls back into the ocean with it, and they're just like, what the hell just happened? They're dumbfounded by it. It's good hunting method, I guess. Hunter symbionts, another million years in the future, and they seem to have not changed very much in that since 10,000 years hence up to 1 million years hence. I think that's what it was. Or was it 100,000? It doesn't really matter, I suppose. Aquatics again, looking slightly different, but mostly the same. Yeah, and here we are. They've become wise to their methods, I guess. So every time they see one, they just bash the gelatinal orb open and pull them out. 2 million years hence, you got the travellers. Yeah, these things creep me out. Hivers, I guess they're descended from the socials, or were the socials the other ones in that picture? I can't remember. The hive, where the hivers live. Gross. These host parasite type things. Anything parasitical is just giving me the willies. It's I just find it disturbing. All these gross little people clinging onto the side of these fatty looking big dumb things. It's just gross. Gross. Fish eater, yeah, he's just there, he's looking for some fish. Tree dweller. This one doesn't bother me too much, again, because it looks so simian. And, okay, you got this skunk guy. No, it's not a skunk guy, it's ant-men. 3 million years hence. Just a monkey with an ant-eating, it's filled an ant-eating niche, I guess. Parallel to the insect offer guy from All Tomorrows. It's kind of cool. The desert runners, yeah, it's sort of interesting designs. Spike tooth, yeah, you got the spike tooth, you got the sloth men. These prey on these guys, but these guys have a method of combating them. Essentially, I think in the story, the young, experienced one kind of jumps on one of their back, and then as a defense, because they're so heavy, they essentially just fall backwards and crush it to death. So yeah, that's I can see that happening. Some diagrams here. That's a spike tooth. That's the parasitical one. That's a tundra dweller. And then you come to the engineered pack animals. This is, I think by this point, that's when the don't fall over. That's when these guys have come back, and they just engineer humans again to serve their purposes. They're massive, as you can see. There's a sort of scale there. These things are like giant. You can see the face there. What's the function of that? Like, still giving its... I guess it needs the brain, so I guess its brain has to be encased in the head. I mean, what is the reasoning behind this though? Is that solar? I wonder if that's solar powered or something, to give them their energy so they don't have to feed them or something. I can't remember what it says in the book. Like I said, my memory's awful. Yeah, these things are disgusting. Engineered food creatures. Big blobby. Ooh, yeah. Here we go. Jemez Smoot's descendants. And yeah, these are the guys. They come back in 5 million years. And, do the whole ravaging the earth thing that the author's so, he had a bit of a thing about that in this book, but I'm not going to get into that again. I've already made my feelings known in the previous video, so I won't bore you with that again. Yeah, but, and that's it. We come to the end, and it's got the, the list of references here, which I've not actually looked through that, really. I'll have to have a look, see if there's anything interesting in there. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Yeah, there could be some interesting stuff in there. I'll have to have a look. You've got the index. Come to the very end. There's a picture of the man himself, Dougal Dixon, with something in his hand. What is that? I don't think that's anything from the book, but, yeah, model makings. Could just be a model that he's made. And that is Man After Man. Man After Man. That's the book itself. Yeah, it's. I'm really happy that I've got it. I'm really pleased that I am able to own such a rare item, basically. Even though my feelings on the book are not... I'm not the biggest fan of the book itself, but it is extremely important to Spec Evo and speculative biology as a genre. So I'm very pleased to have it. I'm pleased that I've read it. I'm pleased that I managed to get one in such good condition as well, because I mean the inside is absolutely, everything always looks really good on camera, but on the inside it's essentially perfect. Like, the corners, there's not even any like fraying. There's a teeny tiny bit. Really the only major damage on this is like here, as you can see, there's a bit of a tear there on the dust jacket, and again I think there's a bit of a very, very minor stuff. I mean, the fact that I got this for like £230 or so, no, was it 300? Yeah, it was about £330 cheaper than you can normally get it, just because of that. I mean, you couldn't ask for any better, could you? So, yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this look inside of Man After Man. I hope that one day you're able to get a hold of a copy if you want to own it. I'm really glad that I've got it. I hope like I said, I hope you've enjoyed having a look through. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button, share this video, leave a comment, subscribe, all that stuff, all that YouTube-y stuff, and become a patron as well if you're feeling generous. And, yeah, this has been Beware the Q, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.